Ms.Dipika Belapurkar in collaboration with the Health Library. Today let's talk a little about connecting with self and with others. You agree that the one thing that we cannot escape from in life is relationships, as long as we have this mind and body. And this lockdown period has made this an even bigger truth in our lives. So how can we use the remaining period, lockdown time, to understand and create harmony in our connections? Somewhere in your implicit memory, as well as mine, lie unfulfilled, incomplete interactions that we have probably pushed away, hoping that they would take care of themselves and somehow disappear. Instead, they become our baggage that we carry around for life in some cases. Just look at our inboxes and contact lists. Long. Do we actually interact with all those people we cling to? In the mistaken belief that we'll sometime need them at some point in the future, and so therefore we just keep those names alive. So what I did was I began to do the time-consuming process of deleting names, numbers, and communication from my phone and email. For the first time, seriously. And it's a work in progress. It takes an unlimited amount of patience and time. But nobody said self-care was easy today. We love to jump into taking care of others before even we are mentally and physically equipped to do so ourselves. Now, what do I mean by this? So it has been rightly said that if we are to connect with others in healing and empowering ways, we have to first connect with ourselves, with compassion and with our judgment. Are we then being fair to ourselves when we stuff our subconscious with sad emotional memories that we don't let go of? What we unknowingly do is clog our energy channels. They're also called meridians or nadis at a body level, which means that we harbor energy blocks within ourselves. We're carrying around those energy blocks all the time. Now we know via research that things that don't move internally, such as contracted muscles, blocked arteries, or impinged nerves, or ischemia, these are all forms and causes of inflammation. We all perhaps agree that if we have happy, healthy relationships, we are actually very happy. Research also points to physical human contact as necessary for our well-being and happiness. And yet, going by current reports, families closeted together under the given trying circumstances are facing unprecedented hardships amongst themselves. And the underlying toxicity in relationships is appearing in the form of heightened abuse, domestic violence, extreme pressure. And how should we deal with this dichotomy, needing unconditional love but receiving toxic love instead? Under this great strain of a different reality these days, over-the-top scrutiny from family members because everyone is at home, taking care of old parents, being physically away from friends who understand and love us, being patient and loving parents ourselves with no break at all from our young kids. Can we still find time to nurture ourselves? Let's formulate how, because it is possible. Consider, for one, all the free time you have between all that you are doing currently and the time you spend on social media checking for followers and likes. Can you divert some part of that free time towards self-care? Is my question to you. And remember, self-care, as its name suggests, should evoke a feeling of being cared for. Unlike the anxiety and stress that follows your efforts to being liked continually and by everyone on social media, which is so unnatural. So let's look at the steps that I have formulated. Let me see if you agree with them. First step, maybe it's time to ask yourself some deeply engaging questions to get to know the real you. Who are you behind that mask? Not the mask you're wearing right now, but the one that hides your vulnerable self. If you pulled away the mask, would you recognize the inner you? You haven't seen it for so long. Asking yourself open-ended questions will eventually lead you inside to those places that have been shut for God alone, God knows how long. And it's very similar to opening all the windows in our home for ventilation. And here we are simply opening the doors to our psyche. Until the present moment, second point, until the present moment, starting from our childhoods, we have convinced ourselves of a narrative about our life that fits in with our worldview. And once this lockdown gets over, how are we going to place ourselves back into daily living with the old narrative? Will it even work? So question yourself. Does the narrative remain true in the light of these irreversible global changes? In the background of extreme suffering that I see around me, where do I place myself? Third point, if you're seeking recognition via social media, there's a big possibility that you will get it. I totally agree with that. It doesn't take much for people to click. Yes, I like, I don't like. Tomorrow I may not like this and I may like that, right? But does that even mean they're really engaging with you? How can they be if they don't even know you? But before that can happen, that people know you, an important factor has to be dealt with, and that is, are you curious about yourself? Are you curious enough to spend time getting to know who you really are? And if you think of yourself as dull and boring, don't expect friends to line up. Identify the good in you and begin to live from there. My fourth point being that self-love also includes the what and how of sharing space and time with the people you spend time with, your loved ones, in these times of adversity. Are you getting closer to each other or spending more time quarreling? It would help you enormously to share your self-love by opening up a space with open-ended questions you have perhaps never asked your spouse before, as you took him or her for granted. You thought you knew everything you needed to know about that person. But do you? Another point, to the ever-increasing list of endangered birds and animals, we can safely add the art of listening. It's a dying art. And social media has come along and simply expedited its near demise. Social media has pulled the world together, no doubt, brought everyone together. You know everything about everyone, but I believe it has disconnected us individually at the root chakra, taking away our sense of security and groundedness. We don't have time to listen because there's no time for an action like listening that requires us to be settled within ourselves, quiet and receptive from inside. And that takes some doing and some skill. If you want to be up to date only with whatever is happening on the outside, you're going to suffer FOMO, right? And so I believe this is the perfect time to hone that skill of listening. How? With self-listening. Listen to what your mind and body is telling you. Learn to listen. And then try listening from there, from that place of knowing yourself. Listen to other family members in your home. Sixth point is that once we learn how to listen without interfering in the other's thought process, in their belief systems, in their opinions, etc., we automatically stop giving advice. It's when we want to shift our position or want control in life, we hijack the conversation. Taking the time to slow down, reducing our social media dependency, showing a deeper interest in the people living around us, will train us for developing more healthy relationships with people outside our family life too. And what we are practicing now is on the home turf. What we are going to take away from this experience with our family is how to deal with people on the outside. Seventh point, while before we may have had lesser time to practice good conversational skills, there's nothing like the present moment time in this slowdown period to reflect over our need to constantly judge against others, against our parameters. Think about it. Why do we have this urge, this terrible, terrible need to judge other people and consider them as being right or wrong, doing the right thing or the wrong thing. We have the time now to figure that one out, for sure. A favorite point of mine, body posture and movement. Your instincts about life and living come from your body. Your emotions and feelings have body connections. Your hormones arise within your body, out here in the gut. Your body posture carries your impression to the other during conversation. So the body plays a big role in how we interact with others. And if we want a good posture and we want to be a good conversationalist, then we require to spend a little time every day in movement. As we move, so we become who we wish to be. Outdoor activities right now need to be currently replaced with indoor walking, stretching, yoga, and other things that you may be doing in order for you to stay in this constant place of motions, that things move, things don't die within you, cells live, etc. There is plenty that you can add to this about this, definitely from your personal experiences. Everyone's reality and perceptions are going to be influenced by how we take care of ourselves and others at this time. And make your choices wisely. How you spend this time, whether individually or collectively, is going to create the new paradigm for relating in the days to come. I hope you take a little time off and consider some of the things at least that I have talked about today. I worked with these things recently with much more gusto than before, and they're working for me. I hope they work for you. Thank you for listening. I will be with you very soon again in another video. Thank you. Bye.